In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? Like many typical R&B videos, we have created a narrative-based / performance music video. We felt that it was necessary to portray the emotions the artist felt throughout the song and therefore combine a narrative and performance type video. If we had used a purely performance-based video, we would have been unable to illustrate our storyline, and if our video was purely narrative-based, it would have been difficult to portray emotion. Combining the two enabled us to effectively show our storyline to the audience while depicting emotion. To comply with the conventions of narrative-based music videos, we have clearly illustrated a storyline which is prevalent throughout the song. Furthermore, in order to make our video more diverse, we cause the story to be linked to the lyrical content of the song, which depicts the intense love a girl has for her boyfriend and how no one can get in the way of her and her lover. An example of this is when, for instance, in the song it says, "When the rain is pouring down." To accompany this line, we recorded the artist looking out a window on a gloomy, rainy day, creating a foreboding ambience. This relates to the end of the video when the artist finally leaves, showing she has made a decision, but is looking back at the time she cherished with her family, in particular the relationship with her mother.
Our music video challenges the codes and conventions of music video because it's unlike any other video, as it portrays a clash of cultures which is very common in Birmingham, considering the diverse range of ethnic groups it is made up of. Our new idea is about a non-Muslim boy and the artist who are trapped by religious norms and traditions. No matter what the lovers do, what plans they make, or how much they love each other, their struggles against social traditions prevent them from being together. However, these traditions are unable to defeat their love for each other. Through our focus group, we discovered that if the artist did not stand up for herself or what she believed in, she would be unable to escape her inevitable fate, which they said would have most likely been an arranged marriage. This gave us an idea for one of the scenes where the artist's mother shows her a picture of a man whom she would like her to marry. We wanted to portray a major cultural issue faced by many people in today's modern society and illustrate a newfound culture that exists today, which breaks all previous norms of conformity. Our narrative is about decisions and sacrifices the artist must make and her determination and struggle against her culture, faith and even the eternal love for her own mother in order to capture true love. This demonstrates the fiery passion shared between a couple in a loving relationship and how much of her own self-identity she has to give up just to be with the man whom she loves.
Mise en scène. Through research, we found that a vital convention in any music video was ensuring that the artist has a costume change. As we wanted our music video to be something innovative, we decided to do something that has never been done before. We decided to address a social issue through our music video. We decided to look at how cultural barriers prevent people from being together and how the views of some cultures on interracial relationships can cause problems for people and in some cases break families. Our video focuses on a girl who is torn between her cultural norms and love, which as a result causes her to become depressed. Our video also explores alienation and how the girl, almost in a way, is unsure about her identity and what she defines herself as, which can in reality have tragic consequences. We decided to base our video on the Pakistani culture. Initially, this posed a problem as it could have potentially narrowed our target audience. However, through research and the responses from our focus group, we found that problems with interracial relationships are faced by numerous cultures, which would therefore allow people from cultures other than the Pakistani culture to relate to our video, thus attracting them. For the costumes, we knew we had to use clothes typically worn in the Pakistani culture. However, this meant we encountered a problem as Pakistani clothes do not represent the R&B genre. To address this issue and to try to be as conventional as we could in terms of the R&B genre, we chose the colours for the Pakistani clothing to be colours typically associated with the R&B genre. The colours we therefore chose were brown, white, black, red, gold and grey. In relation to the R&B genre, here is what these colours represent. The colour black represents style, sophistication and depicts tribulation, which are attributes commonly associated with R&B. Brown is a colour which represents sophistication and elegance, significant elements within R&B. Grey is a colour which evokes strong emotion. Purple is a colour which represents passion, and finally red is a colour which quite simply represents love.
Through research, we found that it was important to use the right type of lighting. It was because the lighting used in the video has a significant influence on the atmosphere the producer is aiming to create. We therefore recorded our lip-syncing scenes in the studio where we use spotlights to illuminate the artist's face, making it easier to identify facial expressions and enabling us to create an atmosphere which was reflective of our concept, which represents pain and tribulation. Even in the house, we tried to incorporate as much lighting as we could within our video. We did this by using numerous lamps and torches as well as tin foil to reflect light where it was needed the most. By doing this, we created shadows which have portrayed the fact that the artist has no control over her life and how her culture seems to be dominant over her life. Here is an example of this. From the scene, you can see that the shadow is behind the artist and almost looks as though it's overpowering her. We felt that the shadow could represent her family and culture which dominates her life and doesn't allow her to do what she wishes.
Editing. Within our video, we have incorporated a number of techniques in order to cause our video to look more effective. For example, our video utilises many flashbacks and therefore it was important to distinguish the past from the present. To do this, we used an effect within Final Cut Express called Tint, which enabled us to make the flashback scenes appear black and white, allowing people to clearly differentiate the past from the present. We incorporated this effect from an Alicia Keys video entitled Unthinkable. If we did not use this effect, it could have potentially jeopardised the success of our video, as it would have made the narrative within our video unclear. Another effect we used was a soft edge tool. Again, this was used to show that the clips represented the past. It softened the edges and helped us to show that the clips were past memories. In order to connect the past and present, we also used another edit, the split screen effect, which we felt looked effective through research. An example of a genuine music video which uses this effect is Alicia Keys' Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart. Within this video, numerous split screens are used. This video gave us the idea and inspired us to use this effect. We used this effect to portray how the artist was feeling, as the clip showed her in colour, suggesting that she returned to the same place where she previously saw her boyfriend. This highlights the importance of the decision she must make and immediately engages the audience. We believe this is effective because people who experience problems with interracial relationships may be able to relate to a similar situation. On the other side of the split screen is her boyfriend. Here we have created the illusion that her boyfriend is looking back at the artist in black and white. He's looking back at the artist in black and white, showing how he may have done this previously in the past, or perhaps suggesting that he is a figment of her imagination. By using this effect, we were able to display how the artist is torn on what path to take, making our video quite intriguing and unusual.
While editing, we use separate layers. This enabled us to place, replace and move clips without destroying the lip syncing. Also, it made it simple to remove clips. When placing a video, we first had to delete the audio. To do this, we had to lock the layer which had the video clips which was needed, so they would not be affected. As we were mistakenly given two different cameras, we had to re-record certain scenes, ensuring we use the same camera, because if we continue using the scenes from two different cameras, it would have jeopardized the professionalism of our video due to the resolution being different. Furthermore, when recording these scenes in the studio, there were some scenes which were partially good quality and partially outtakes. To make good use of these clips, we had to use the razor blade tool, which enabled us to cut the clips in half, thus allowing us to use part of the clip which was needed. Although we tried to make good use of lights, we had some scenes where it appeared dark, and as a result, some aspects of the scene are difficult to see. This is where we used the color corrector tool. This enabled us to brighten the clips, making them clearer and easier to see.
When we came near completion of our video, we decided to show a few of our peers the video in order to get an idea of where to make improvements. When showing them the video, someone commented on a scene near the end of the video. Here, the artist is about to leave her house and take control of her own life. We therefore see her throwing the picture of her and her mother on the floor. This suggests that this is the end of a chapter with her and her family and the start of a new one with the man she loves. Initially, we made it appear as though the artist has thrown the picture of her and her mother on the floor and is then leaving. However, one of our peers suggested that after throwing the picture on the floor, we should cause the artist to actually disappear from the photo. We found this quite intriguing and therefore decided to use it because it suggests she is now living life the way she wants. It therefore illustrates the removal of her presence not only from the photo but from her mother's life as well.
Camera angles. Within our video, we use a range of angles in order to create meaning and effectively illustrate our narrative. For example, our video looks at disempowerment of a girl, her tribulation and therefore weakness. so we decided to use a high-angle shot to portray this weakness and disempowerment. This was effective as high-angle shots are used to show weakness and vulnerability, which is the artist's state in parts of the video. High-angle shot can also evoke feelings of empathy in the audience. One scene, the mother is leaning over the protagonist and seems to be overpowering her. We felt this connoted the dominance of the artist's culture in her life.
Furthermore, when it was important that the audience focused on the facial expressions of the actors, we used mid-shots in order to allow the facial expressions to clearly be seen. We also used mid-shots to establish the relationship between characters by displaying the interaction between them. We did this near the beginning of the video, where the protagonist is laughing with her mom, which is followed by a shot of her sitting and talking to her boyfriend. When establishing a setting, we used a typical long shot, which allowed us to effectively move from one setting to the other while making the narrative clear. For the scene where the artist leaves the house, we used an over-the-shoulder shot. When using this shot, the shadow formed in front of the artist. This differed from the scenes, for instance, in the studio, where we used spotlights, so the shadow formed behind the artist. This in itself suggested that initially the artist had no control over her life, whereas when she leaves her house and a shadow is formed in front of her, it is as though she's creating her own shadow, suggesting she is taking control of her life, becoming independent and making her own decisions. A significant scene within our video is when the artist's mother throws a teddy given to her by her lover on the floor. We felt this scene was important as it shows to the audience the impact the artist's relationship with her boyfriend is having on her family, in particular her mother, and how severe the effect is. In this scene, the camera zooms into the heart which the teddy is holding. We felt doing this was powerful and would have a profound effect on the audience, as it shows to them the strength of the girl's relationship with her boyfriend. It portrays true love, which, as the saying goes, nobody can come between.